What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Facts Project. I'm your host, James Grandmaster Facts Boys. Today, two of our favorite illustrious authors here for us today from Konkret Comics. You have Lyle Ringold, and of course, you have JiReh Cecil. Thank you for being here, brothers.
No doubt, man. Thank you for having us.
And of course, I had to play that background music because, me being an old head as I am, I mean, the fact that you called this project Crucial Conflict kind of near and dear to me. I mean, I realize both of y'all from Chicago, but are y'all a little too young for Crucial Conflict? What's going on?
Nah, man, we just look youthful. Lyle like 38.
Nah, I'm young.
Lyle 38.
So you ain't never wait, do you know about this group, brother?
No, I know about them.
Okay.
I just don't bump their music.
So you name your project after them. But I don't bump their music.
I don't need to bump their music. I didn't it's other better. I mean, it's other musicians out there that I would play over them.
Damn.
What a way to start it off.
Way to start it off. Good job. All right. Promotion is underway for this, by the way. For real. So, of course, behind me, I got issues 2 for each of you guys. Watchman issue 2, Deja Vu issue 2. For those people that do not know, Konkret is pretty much in the direct market space right now. This is kind of like just an exclusive that's going strictly to Kickstarter. So why the opportunity for one to go back to Kickstarter to do this kind of like a crossover event when you guys are already basically established in mainstream distribution right now?
Yeah, so one of the things that we wanted to capture was like the general hype and buzz around, Kickstarter campaigns and, getting that traffic focused on one project at a time. We do have a website, like I said, the direct market. If you go in there, we got a ton of projects. We got over 30 different books across, I think, 12 or 13 different titles. So this will be one of those featured books on the platform, but we wanted to make it more focused on this event because it is pretty monumental for the brand. It is the first, canonically speaking, it is the first crossover on the Konkret universe.
Yep.
Anytime we're out at the conventions and everything like that, people always ask us like, oh, do they share universes? Are they in the same universe? And this is the first like stamp that yes, they are in the same universe. Yes, they will cross paths. So since it was kind of that groundbreaking situation, we wanted to, drive some hype tension to our project.
Word. Now, Lyle, I've been trying to talk to Lonzo, Onaji, and the rest of the gang about getting Absolver, Acolyte, and Odina in any type of crossover over events, and they've never done it before. So why did they particularly pick y'all's 2 characters to be the first?
See, that's the thing. They didn't pick us. We decided to do it ourselves. This was our decision, not theirs. They had nothing to do with it. We thought that the best 2 characters in Konkret should just cross over.
Damn.
That's pretty much exactly how it went.
That's how it went.
Yeah, so I was I was in Philly. I was in Philly with Lonzo and Jamil, and I was like, hey, take a look at this. I lean over to Jamil and I show him like 18 pages of the collab already. And he's like, what is this? I was like, just a little something we got cooking up. So Lonzo knew about it on the front end. So he signed off. He said, obviously it makes a lot of sense for these 2 characters to cross paths. They physically take place in a similar area. Backgrounds mesh perfectly together. So it was kind of written in the stars on that front.
Yeah. And is it basically harm to say that because they're both street level characters that it was inevitably going to happen?
Yeah, it was gonna happen. It was gonna happen eventually, but we just decided to do it sooner.
So when
it was probably supposed to happen like two issues of Watchman later, but who cares? We have to be the first. So, get it out the way.
But even outside of that, this is a 42-page arc.
Yeah.
So this is not no 22-page floppy of you doing a continuous story. You wanted this to be sort of like a graphic novel.
Yeah. So we originally wrote it as a part 1 and part 2. So that was the original design. Part 1 was 20 pages. Part 2 was 22 pages. And like as we got deeper into it, we started thinking about how we were going to market and release it, and also at conventions, like the transactions at conventions, and we felt it was a lot easier for people to grasp that, okay, this is just, you know, basically 2 issues in one. So we delivered those 42 pages because we were going to have a staggered release initially, but we felt like it was better to just kind of put it all out there.
I mean, and they were going to get put together anyways, so
right,
might as well just stick them together in the first place.
Now, both of your characters are, for the most part, created in fictional worlds. Warren City, Hudson City. Yep. Now, are both of these particular places, of course, geographically speaking, just aspects of Chicago that you guys created in your stories?
Yeah, Southside and downtown.
Southside and downtown.
Yep.
Okay. So, generally speaking, culture speaking, how do we defer the two?
It's almost like one of those if you know type of situation. So I grew up on the west side. I grew up on the west side. He grew up on the south side. So the aspects of Deja Vu's life that you see in print primarily takes place downtown because that's what his place of business is. So in the first 3 issues, that's been like the primary setting for it. So for me, I went a different way when I started telling my story. Not so much where he started, but kind of where he is now. So because he has a business, because they have resources and all of these things, his world kind of revolves around that city aspect where, you know, he's in that business market, so to speak. Right. And then, you know, Lyle's character, you know, his stories, his background's different, right? In contrast. So that's where his Southside roots kind of start to kick in.
Yeah, so in mine, you'll low-key see him going back and forth, but that's just because I always go back and forth. But you'll see him like probably go into like a downtown area, so that's just like downtown. But then when you see like in like issue 2, the apartment buildings where like the police came in and they saw like the character dude, and like when the Watchman kicked Buddy off the bike, like those 2 characters
when he stole his bike. We gonna talk about it.
So like those 2 characters, you know, they're real people to me. Like one is my brother, the other one was my cousin. The character dude is my cousin. That apartment building is literally in the hundreds. Like, you know, they call it the Wild Hundreds in Chicago, off 121st in Michigan. And then that apartment complex is the Indiana Trails apartment. Like that was an actual literal apartment building. Like the front of it, that's literally how it looked. So yeah. So yeah, it's like if you know, it's like you said, it's like if you know, you can tell by the look of it. Right. And then like from the later issues and Watchman, you'll be able to tell like more like, that's on the south side.
Yeah. And then like I got so like the headquarters for Crown Global, people have seen the Chicago skyline, of course. Everybody kind of knows that diamond building, but for me, like my mama actually used to work there. So she worked in that building. I've taken tours of like the diamond office and everything like that. Or they used to do Bring Your Kid to Work Day back in the day. So that's how old I am. They used to do those.
I was about to say, isn't that called the Chrysler Building?
I don't know what it's called now. I call it the Stone Container Building.
I don't think it's called the Chrysler Building no more.
I don't know what it's called.
They changed all the buildings' names, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah, but it was Stone Container. So they made paper, like printing paper. So I remember going in there and making my own paper and everything like that. So when he talks about
make the paper?
Yeah, it was a part of the activities. You make the paper. Okay. How I made the paper, we'll talk about that later. But
I didn't ask.
but yeah, so that's that's how you kind of breathe life from your into your story based on like your personal experiences and everything like that.
Right.
And I got some other hidden gems baked into my 4th and 5th issue and everything like that as well.
Right. And I got other hidden gems in my 3rd. Like y'all gonna see O Block pop up, but hey.
Yo, now I've seen Tevin be more like a loner, like in most of his aspects, most of his adventures and everything in a lot of the books. He's always on his own. I mean, he rarely even needs aid from anybody. Is Malcolm kind of like in this situation, kind of like a how can I be down situation, to where he has to jump in and be like, yo, why do I even need to roll with you? But I see how you moving. Maybe I should jump aboard.
No, I definitely wouldn't say that. It's more of they
just ran into each other.
Yeah, they're crossing paths by coincidence a little bit to begin with.
Right.
But how they ultimately decide to, you know, however you want to say, put their differences aside or, you know, collaborate, so to speak, is really out of necessity. And that's one of the things I enjoy the most about this book is that you see each character's drive to why they have to work together or why they have to come together. And you also see them both get what they need out of that interaction. You know, they're able to play off of each other very well. They're able to learn off of each other. And then like that climax, so to speak, is what each character needed.
Now, as far as the abilities are concerned, I mean, Malcolm is sort of like a precog. And you know what I'm saying? Like
Malcolm cheats. Let's just start there.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he's a precog. So it's kind of like I see it before it happens.
He cheats, Mr. Healing Factor, and
Wolverine. I was gonna go about the ability.
But look, Deja Vu also, what is his suit for again?
What'd you say?
What is his suit?
Oh yeah, his suit generates kinetic energy when he moves, right? So
Tevin don't need a suit, so Tevin can fight Deja Vu without his suit.
So the thing with the precog is that it's kind of, so I drew inspiration from like Dragon Ball Super and everything when I was kind of developing the power sets. So it starts, it's not in this full form right now, right? So it's limited. It's limited to a few seconds before it happens. So if he engages with a stressful situation, that's when his senses start to heighten. Because essentially what it is his brain processes information faster than a normal human brain would. So he's not clairvoyant, but that precognition, you know, especially if his opponent is very predictable, like the Watchman. Like if he knows what he's gonna do, it's a lot easier for him to you know, counteract that.
I was gonna say because like
quickness too much. He's too.
I was gonna say because Tevin is more so based on reflexes. Like he just adapts to his situations.
He's like, also strong and faster.
I'm looking
literally.
Y'all actually put the power scale on Kickstarter, so like the way that y'all have like this built up, I'm like, for one, it's kind of in a trading card basis. Y'all both have the same type of skill and intelligence. But actually,
that's because Alonzo didn't know what it was.
Both had the same.
Start there.
Yeah, y'all both had the same amount of skill. It's not the intelligence; it's durability for Watchmen, and it's intelligence for Deja Vu.
Yep.
Yeah. But that makes sense. My character will be more like your, you know, Steve Rogers, Nightly. His character is obviously clearly Iron Man. Makes with Black Panther, so
more Batman mixed with Black Panther for me. But
like I'm saying, like Rich. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
he's rich.
Like, no, but like Rich, and obviously he's in tech.
Yeah.
Tevin ain't got tech. Tevin's basically working out of a basement, like Arrow did in Green Arrow.
He in the trenches.
Like, yeah, like
Southside.
of course, his intelligence is gonna be up there, but it's a different type of street smarts that Tevin has street smarts. It's a difference. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and the intelligence for Deja Vu really comes from the like I said, the ability to process information faster than others, right? So that's where most of his intellect comes from, is that he knows what's going to happen before it happens in some cases. A lot of times when I'm explaining his power set, people say, "Oh, he's overpowered. He's this." It's not. It's not as black and white as, like I said, he's not clairvoyant.
Because just because he could see what's coming, don't mean he could block all of Watchman's hits. Just saying.
That's true in most cases. But you got to read these 42 pages to see how that's out. But for those who are out there and you know, haven't had the opportunity to read Deja Vu issue 0, it is available as a free read on Konkret Comics if you go there. But you'll kind of see a good example of that, where his senses got distorted in such a way it almost negated his power set, so he had to, you know, call an audible.
Right. Now, for a lot of crossovers that basically have happened in the past, whether it's been like Daredevil and Moon Knight, Batman and Superman and anything like that, it usually ends in a certain situation where they align. And it's like there's like almost like a truce that happens. Is that where we're going with this?
Well, you got to read it.
Okay. Heard that. Now, necessarily, I mean, if y'all are basically kind of like fostering yourselves from the same type of environment, now are we going to see basically another sensible crossover into each one's issues going into issues like 4, 5 in the next coming books? If y'all had this crossover meetup, where do you potentially put yourselves in your next issues?
I'll let you go first. Well, okay,
So
here's how it is. Honestly, so my issue 3, no, I have to say this. So it basically the collab is out of place in the first part. It's issue 3 of Watchmen comes in before the collab. So you wouldn't see another crossover really until after issue 4.
Right.
Basically, of Watchmen. So you gotta get to issue 3 first. Obviously the collab comes out first, but you don't need to read issue 3 to get to the collab because that's just Deja Vu coming into town on like a Tuesday or something. You know, it's not so. It's the same villain, but that's the only difference that people will probably be like, "Oh, I need issue 3 now," because it just introduces the villain.
Yeah, because I'm about to say after issue 2 of Watchmen, shoot, Tev was getting his ass handed to him a little bit. And he had a whole other villain that he had to take care of because he was still recuperating.
Yeah, that's how I planned it. But now the other villain has another villain, so you know.
Damn, bro, you just stacking them up. You gonna have a rogue gallery now?
Oh yeah,
he was already gonna have that. Like he was gonna have like it was based that way for the. It wasn't just gonna be Vale. Vale's not even okay. Vale's like the main guy, but then there's a main guy above that main guy. But then this main guy has his little guys, so to speak. Like he runs his own. He building his own super crew.
Minions.
Yeah. Even though they're probably overpowered minions, but yeah.
Now, JiReh, same question.
Yeah. So my books do go in order, a logical order. So
do mine. I just said that the collab didn't go in order.
No. So in all seriousness, that was one of the things that we had kicked the tires on for quite a while. Is how do we want this to fit into our universe, or how do we want this to fit into our story? So we agreed that we wanted it to be canon. I mean, so much so we went back and forth about. Originally, we originally wanted to write this as 2 parts. We thought about it being both of our issue 4s, so to speak. But we kind of pulled out of that and we made it its own standalone. But we wanted to name it in such a way that it could continue on. If the fans demanded it, if situations in the Konkret universe called for the 2 of them to meet again, that would be, we would kind of set the table for that. We kind of likened it to how the Arrowverse works, right? When you got, you got the Flash and Arrow crossing over, right? You watch the Arrow on Wednesday, you watch Flash on Thursday, and then they, like I said, they cross paths on the Tuesday, right? Yep. On Legends of Tomorrow, whatever the case may be. So this kind of cemented the fact that they exist in the same world, and the decisions that each one of them make, could impact the other.
All right.
So, but even if they didn't exist in the same world, we still could have did it because the Arrowverse did it. Supergirl wasn't on the same world.
Yep.
Get right. Yeah.
No, that's true. That's true. It was kind of like an Elseworld situation.
Yeah. Like half of them weren't on the same world, so the only 2 I think that were really on the same world was Flash and Arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, when we're talking about basically like how this was released, now I know we talked about it earlier briefly before we even started about like basically kind of like in the indie comics game, everybody basically goes to Kickstarter. But when we're talking about the direct market space that you guys kind of established at the beginning of this year, what is generally like the contrast between the 2?
I would say the contrast comes into play with the Kickstarter. You get those exclusive prints and bundles and things of that nature.
Like
collector's edition. Do too much.
Yeah, you get a lot of collector's editions. I mean, you got some right there behind you, right? Those green Ks. Those were Kickstarter exclusives. We just dropped the Black Comic Lord cover exclusives. So those are kind of like that fan service aspect that we want to like lean into the Kickstarter community, because there's a big community there that like just follows Kickstarters, and we get a ton of backers from traffic, and they're only looking there, right? So we want to make sure that we keep those fans coming back as well. I think on average we're getting about 115 to 140 backers on most Konkret Comic Kickstarter campaigns. So that is for those folks that know us from that platform that want to keep coming back there, and also want to get those exclusive green Ks and things like that. And then when you look at the direct fulfillment standpoint, we got the Patreon platform that's building for those who like to stay in touch digitally or stay in touch through private Discord channels and things like that. And then you got your general revenue that generates from the website sales as well. So it's kind of like a something for everybody type of market strategy right now with these exclusive drops like this.
Now, Lyle, what's your gripe with Kickstarter?
I don't like all the extra cuts and all that come out of it. No, honestly, it just takes too long. I'm like, I get it. Like, I get it. Some people, like ours was short this time. Like, usually my Kickstarters are like, probably like almost 30 days. But even that, it's like, all right, let's wrap this up. And then I got to do too much. It's like, I got to keep posting every day. I got to make reels, get the Kickstarter 5 days. Why am I counting down? I feel like if it's just there, it should do the work for me. They don't even do nothing. No offense. What are they doing? What is Kickstarter doing for us? If we still got to do everything every single day, it's just like it's there for people to click.
Right.
But we still got to like go on in people's DMs and ignore them. Be like, hey, I got a Kickstarter right here. Go check it out, please. And then they check it out and they be like, oh, well, I don't have no. Or, it's like they
you got to explain Kickstarter.
Right. Yeah, so you got to explain how it works. I'm like, I shouldn't have to explain it every single year I release a book. And y'all back the other two. Why am I still explaining myself? Like, you should know I Kickstarter. I'm like, it don't even come out yet. It comes out in your bank account in 30 days. Come on now. You ain't going to have that in 30 days? It's crazy. But it's like,
I think that's one of the keys right there, though. Even people that you know personally or in real life, right? You send them a link, they be like, oh, well, how do I do this? Oh, I don't have an account. Oh, I got to do this. Can I just buy the book off you? It's like, you could, but, you're trying to drive traffic in this area.
And then it either works or it doesn't work. But it's just like, I ain't got the patience to do another one. But I'm getting that. Like, I said it. I've told him, I've told Lonzo, this is my last one. First of all, issue 2 was my last Kickstarter. So they got me with this one. I wasn't doing it no more. So honestly, like I said, I was like my 3. I'm probably not doing a Kickstarter. I'll do like a KonkretComics.com event type thing, like a release, like a big release date. Cool. That get it over with.
Because y'all done K-Day before in the past where y'all do y'all marketing campaigns on YouTube, but is it are you saying it's easier to market to the direct market? Like marketing.
I feel like it's easier for other people because then they can just get it on their own time.
Yeah,
it's like if you do Kickstarter and they just complain, either they back it or someone's like, "Oh, I can't do it right now." But if I just release it on Konkret, you could just do it when you feel like it at that point. Like,
I think
to me it's easier for the people. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it definitely streamlines the transaction, right? I mean, if you're going directly to a website, it's just like every other shopping experience known to man.
Yep.
Right. You go in, you click buy, and you get it anticipated shipment date, and you're good to go.
Yeah. It's like when you do the Kickstarter, you literally have to wait until the campaign ends. And then that's if your Kickstarter was funded. That's another thing. If I do it on KonkretComics.com, I ain't gotta wait to see if it's funded. It's like, all right. You just gonna buy it at
I might not get the book.
Exactly. Because then it's like if what if ours wasn't funded? Like what if ours wasn't funded? And then people put all information and it's like, well, now they still can't even get it. It's like it was a waste of their time.
And that's the thing, right? Like we got the books, right? So like if we wanted to, I mean, we got 109 backers. So
we could send them out right now.
Yeah, we could start fulfillment right now, but the way Kickstarter works, and of course you notice, we got to kind of wait for everything to close down, reconcile, and then start the shipping process. But that's one of the perks of direct as well is that we can get it into the hands of the people a little faster as well.
Now, what do you think is preventing a lot of like indie comic companies, publishers, to actually move to the direct market and get away from Kickstarter? Is it just the fact that there's constant creations of new shit? Or do you have to build just a big enough of a profile in order for you to actually go to the direct market?
Nah, well,
Concrete can do that.
For me, I think that certain people just like Kickstarter. They like seeing their stuff funded, or they didn't. Or I know most of them that I know. Like I waited. I know I just now got someone's Kickstarter that I pledged from when I did my first book, and that was in 2021. I just got that book this year, and I've been getting updates for like the past 3 years saying, "Oh, sorry guys, something happened, or we're finally printing the book." Like some people, they literally do it to fund their project, but like ours was done. Like then that's just the difference with Concrete and other ones. Our books are always done before we get to Kickstarter. It's already done. All we have to do is literally print it. Like it's color, letter, all that. Other people, they stuff don't be done. They just have certain pages out, but the book's not done. Like the old girl that I got her book, it just finished in 3 years. Like,
yeah. Well, I think what Lyle was trying to say here.
No, I said what I was saying.
Is right, and I think having that capital, I think at its source, Kickstarter is a crowdfunding platform, right?
Right.
So when you look at the indie space and things like that, not everybody has that capital backing or whatever the case may be to, create on the front end, like we've been fortunate to do. So we're able to get the product, have it done, have it edited, have it fully completed, ready to print. So that way we can go direct or we can go Kickstarter. Like we have a bit more options than some other creators out there. And then some people just like the thrill, like I was saying, just like the thrill of launching and
Launching
and everything like that. Yeah.
Keep going. I was just letting you know we going on an adventure right now, but keep going.
Okay.
It's
field trip time.
I knew it. We get in the car.
There we go.
Keep going. Keep the show going.
So I was about to say
up already. So yes.
Yeah, look, he heading out. So when we're looking at it from that aspect, I mean, shoot, I think I've been covering Concrete as a company since around, I'm going to say 2019. So they've had the time to establish themselves, have gained creators, and literally from that aspect alone, outside of just people getting to know the characters, they built on the business. So kind of like what separates Concrete from other publishers that are out there right now?
I think one thing that kind of separates us is the quality of work, that the quality and consistency of work that's been put out. Starting with Onaji, Jamil, and Lonzo, right? Like the original 3 that kind of launched the platform. Their character designs dope. The quality was great. The branding was consistent. So it's like if you see a Concrete book, it's a Concrete book, right? You see the K, what that is before you even like really get it in your hands. So I think that the business plan that was put together early on kind of paved the way for what you see right now, where you can have newer creators like myself. I know Lyles has been around, I'll say day 2, right? He wasn't day 1, but he's, kind of day 2.
I was kind of right there when they. No, that's just.
I was right there.
They just don't want to let me in. But like I was on there, like
he was looking through the window. He was looking through the window.
I was literally right. I think that's why Alonzo kept pushing me back a little bit because he didn't want me to. He didn't want me to overshadow them because I was right there.
I think everything was in timing though.
Talking about
that. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that definitely drives that separation though is quality, consistency, and the branding. I would say are like the top 3 things that separates Concrete from some of the others out there.
It's true, and also even the aspect that like even though most of you are regional, I think what is it? Shoot, I think y'all cover the South, y'all cover the Midwest, y'all definitely cover the East Coast.
Yep.
We need to go to Alaska.
Yeah, y'all. I don't think y'all picked anybody up from the West Coast yet.
Not yet.
But
ain't no one from Cali.
I don't think y'all got anybody from Cali yet. But the thing is, there's always a representative out there whenever there's a convention around. Whether it's all in the Midwest, Onaji down in the South, Lonzo and everybody over here on the East Coast. I mean, even more so than not. I mean, if y'all, I think, was it, did Lonzo go to San Diego Comic-Con last year?
No, we didn't make it out to San Diego just yet. But
yeah, because I was about to say, I was like, that is kind of like the last wheelhouse for you guys, and it's almost like inevitable at this point.
Yeah.
So as far as like cornering the market, as far as an indie space, and I'm not even going to say a black indie space, an indie space. You know what I'm saying? Y'all seem to pretty much have like all your checks and dots already taken care of as far as like distribution is concerned. Not even the fact that you already have an open market distribution center through Diamond. So you can constantly get comics in people's hands continuously throughout the year.
Yep.
And that never stops you. If somebody wanted to issue one of Watchmen in East Bumblefuck, Oregon tomorrow, they could get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they could get, like they'll order it and it'll be there in like 3 days.
Yeah.
So more so, I don't think a lot of people are understanding the big deal of the Diamond distribution deal that got done through the company. But that made an impeccable amount of a difference.
Yeah. No, that, I mean, and we saw firsthand effects of that, right? We went down to we were at DreamCon. Lonzo and I were down there, and we were, doing our thing, and a guy walks up and he's like, "Yo, what's going on? I already got Acolyte 1. I need 2 and 3." And he's like, "Okay, where'd you get 1 from?" He's like, "Local comic shop." And it was like, and like when he walked away, Lonzo was like, "Down here in Texas, from a local, local comic shop, he picked up my 1 and followed us, and knew that we would be there. I was like, yo, I need 2 and 3, right? So like that's, like you said, that impact can't be understated, because that, that opens a lot of the doors.
So if we're talking about it from that aspect of where basically retailers are now catching on to distribution, have y'all, what's the comic shops over in Chicago like?
Yeah,
well,
so
first of all, you have to have they want you to have a certain number of issues out first.
Okay.
But we still have our books in a couple of like local areas, like Blur's Underground and LaGrange. We have, like, Concrete actually has their own section in that comic book shop. And then I have mine out in like suburbs of like Frankfurt. There's a comic book shop out there. And then I'm trying to get ours into, me and JiReh into Chicago Comics. It's a comic book shop like in the city, but they be playing. No, because I emailed them, I messaged them. They're like, okay, yeah, send it to this email. I do the email, and then they don't talk back. But every time I hit them up on Facebook, they reply, and they keep telling me to go to the email. I'm gonna just walk up there.
So quite honestly, what he just said is one of the things that I wanted to get with him and start planning out is, let's literally take a field trip, around the Chicagoland area, walk in and be like, hey, look, here's 3 issues of Deja Vu, here's 3 issues of the Watchmen, here's our collab. Like this is what we bring to the table, and kind of get some traction there. I have talked to my local comic shops and everything like that, but they typically stick to that Diamond distribution. But he said as soon as we get our books through Diamond, he'll order them and put them on the shelves there. For us, like Lyle said, they want, make sure that it's sequential, that you got a couple issues under your belt. I'm on issue 4 Deja Vu right now. His issue 3 is, in the works. So, the next step for Deja Vu and Watchmen is also Diamond.
Well, bro, I appreciate you guys doing this with me, man. Like the fact, I mean, look, even though there is this little bit of hindrance towards Kickstarter and everything, I'm glad that there's a crossover event between Concrete, that it has an access to the fans online outside of the direct market. So you're actually pinpointing both areas here to where we can get the comic in our hands. So I appreciate the both of you doing that. Thank you.
Yes, sir, man. We appreciate you having us on.
Absolutely. Lyle, I don't know if you can hear me, man. I know you're on your drive.
I can.
All right.
I can.
So as far as fulfillment, I know as soon as the campaign's over, we should expect this in our hands probably by middle of September.
Let's see. So it ends. Right. Yeah. So it ends October 31st. I mean August 31st. So I think it's that 2 to 3 weeks for Kickstarter to settle and everything like that. once everybody completes their surveys, that's another key holdup is, as soon as it ends, we're going to send out the surveys and make sure everybody get those back to us. And then, they'll be shipping out sometime late September.
All right.
So everybody should honestly have their stuff, I feel like, by what, October?
October at the latest, yeah.
October.
Yeah, like,
anything unforeseen, we locked and loaded. Like I said, everything's edited, ready to go. The printer's ready to press the button as soon as we send them the counts.
I was about to say, because this is kind of like around September, October. That's kind of like peak con season. So I'm pretty sure that this comic is probably going to end up being on the racks that you guys put out when you'll probably be at New York Comic Con this year. Was it I forget the C2E2? Is that like later on?
C2E2, yep.
Later on.
C2E2, that's the one in April.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we'll be looking forward to that, man.
We already had it on the shelves at Chicago Fan Expo. So the day we launched the campaign was Chicago Fan Expo, and we had it with us. That's when we had Larry Houston stop by, pick up a couple copies, and it was dope, man. Like, we had Stephanie Williams came through, show her support too. So to be kind of recognized by those folks, that was dope. That was a good feeling, man.
And for y'all don't know who he's talking about, Larry Houston is like the former director of X-Men the Animated Series. And if you haven't read Nubia and the Amazons, that is Stephanie Williams. Yes.
Yep.
All right, brothers. I appreciate you guys once again. Of course, this campaign ends in about like 4 days. So good luck to you guys. And we will make sure to get this out there to the public. All right.
Thank you, man.
All right, man. So for myself, James Grandmaster Facts Boyce, JiReh Cecil, Lyle Ringold out there on the road patrolling the streets. We are out.